Hey everybody. Guilt. I hope you're having a good evening. Boy, traffic sucks, doesn't it? It can be a pretty big burden if you're not careful. It can kind of get the best of you if you're not watching closely. So, I want to talk today about veteran guilt. You know, a lot of veterans, I've touched on it a few times in a couple of podcasts, but a lot of veterans feel overwhelming amounts of responsibility for the things that are going wrong in their lives. They feel like it's completely their fault, and it may be true. It may be true, but one of the things that I have seen over and over again when I'm dealing with veterans who have PTSD or folks that are trying to work through this stuff, one of the things we see over and over again is this overwhelming, over-encompassing, just blanketed feeling of responsible, like I'm just a burden. That's how you feel. And even when you've done nothing wrong, like I can talk about times when with my wife where I'm talking with her and I'm like, "You mad at me?" She's like, "No, why would I be mad at you?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I just feel guilty." It's like I just feel like I'm, like I should be doing something. Because you wrap up a lot of your self-worth in a job or a career or that kind of stuff, and you forget what's important, for sure. I think if you ask the average active duty guy, I don't know, I'm sure he would probably admit very honestly that he spends and gives a lot more to the military than he should, and that his family should get more than he gives to the than he gives to them. And that's part of the sacrifice. In your mind, you can justify that sacrifice because you're like, well, I knew what I was getting into. I signed the paper. I knew what I was doing. I'm this is part of the deal. Let's suffer through this is how you think. But then when you get out, it gets harder and harder and harder to manage, and you're all of a sudden not able to say that. I didn't sign on the dotted line for this, or did I? Like you just don't know. You don't think about it. It doesn't come into the equation. When you're trying to think about like, oh well, maybe I should join the military. Well, what if I get my leg blown off? Well, I'll get a job where my leg won't get blown off. I'll be a truck driver, they said. You know how many truck drivers get their legs blown off? Do you know how many truck drivers and fuelers and tankers and people that I've seen who really, really, really went through some terrible things and were not even infantry? Who told me when they went in, they were like, I tried to avoid the infantry, and then I got put on convoy missions, One of the things that Matt added here that I want to add to this podcast, he said, the second chakra is the water chakra. The body part is the genitals. This chakra deals with pleasure. It is blocked by guilt, and guilt is a painful external feeling of empathy for outward injury. Oh my goodness, this is a lot longer. I'm going to keep reading this. This is good stuff. For outward injury caused by one's own actions done to others. You cannot move through life without... Oh, this is good stuff. I'm not even going to read this. I want you guys to. Listen, if you're listening to this later, if you're coming back to this podcast, what you're going to want to do is go to the comment section and read the comments. This is good stuff. And I'm not going to muddle up this already muddled audio presentation with... it's still going. I don't want to read the comment because the comment's so amazing. I want it to stand alone. But it's just basically purge your attachment to the judgment of what you do or do not deserve. That's some good data right there. It's good stuff. Great comments. I appreciate that. It's probably Matt chiming in right there as Veterans for Natural Rights. But listen, guys, listen. If you've done reprehensible things, if you've done stuff, and girls, and Z, whichever identity you identify as, I'm joking, sort of, to a degree. If you have dealt with guilt and you've done things that you feel like were bad or worthy of feeling guilty, all right, well, feel that way and keep feeling that way. And then at the end of a period of time that you decide, look at the results. Look at the results and say, now, was that the best course of action? Are the results... Again, I want to go back to what I said. I'm not a pragmatist in most things. Like, but I am in other things where it matters. So I guess, in this context, is pragmatism helpful? I don't know. Is it good to let go of self-hatred and guilt? Yes. Is it good to let go of it no matter the results? I think so. I do. I think so. Now, I don't know. I mean, like, if the results are like, immediate psychosis, I don't know that that's a good thing. But there'd be no way for you to actually tell that. There's no way you could for sure say, if I let go of this guilt, something bad's going to happen. I mean, there's no way you could say that. In fact, I don't think that there's any way that you yourself could effectively know that. I don't think anybody could tell that. I don't think that's something that people can know. I don't. And so, looking at guilt in the context of combat, right? Guys that do things in combat that they feel bad about, that's important to discuss. You need to air those things out with your spouse or with your counselor or with your homies on a mountain hike. You need to get that stuff out of your noggin space, because I'm telling you now, that noggin space can get really, really cluttered. It can get really distracting, It can become a thing. It can actually lead you down places of self-harm. We just lost a brother in arms, a dude, a homie, veteran, killed himself just recently. Somebody that a lot of us know, or knew of, or had interactions with in some capacity. It's just real when it kind of touches home a little bit more. But that's not even the worst of it. I mean, there are still hundreds of thousands of veterans in the Metro Omaha area, I'm sure, who are just as susceptible to suicide as the dude that just decided to end his own life recently, right? In Oregon. We've got to do something about it. We can't just keep going and pretending like it's going to be all right. You can't just keep working your stupid job thinking that that's fulfillment, man. It's not. That's dumb. Don't think that way. Tim, you can't tell people how to think. You can't tell people that's dumb. I can. But I have to be ready and prepared for the repercussions. You see, that's where I think a lot of Christians get it really twisted and confused, because a lot of them say, don't judge. Don't judge me. Judge not, But if you really look at the Bible, it actually talks more about judging with righteousness. What does that mean? Well, using the right measure to judge. Using the right stick. Now, if you're not religious, that's fine. Don't freak out and get your panties in a twist. I'm just saying, for real, that it really matters how we look at things. It really does. So when we judge someone or something, ensure that we're judging correctly and that we are willing ourselves to be judged by the very same measure. That's what I view it as. If I'm willing to be judged by the same measure as the stick that I'm using to measure other people, then I think it makes it a little bit different. It definitely changes things a little bit, right? Makes it seem a little bit clearer that what we do has an impact on our surroundings, that what we say has an impact on our surroundings, that how we treat other people has an impact on our surroundings. And then we can take that another step, the way the VA does. And we can say how we do what we do, where we do, and when we do it impacts how our mental state will be. And then, I mean, like, the VA doesn't say this, but I do. Like, you can cultivate your surroundings to a degree. And I guess to go even further, everybody sort of is cultivating their surroundings. No one that's on welfare, living in project housing, being beaten by their spouse, consuming narcotics, none of those people would tell me that they would pick that life. Nobody would. I don't think anybody would. I don't know anybody that's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get addicted to crack. Yay. Where are those pills to shove up my nose? I wonder where that kind of idea happened. It's like, I'm going to stick this dried up powdered leaf in the second highest hole in my head. I guess it is the highest hole. No, second highest, because my eyes are the highest. I'm just going to shove this up here and hope something happens. How many people do you think died trying to figure out if cocaine was good or not? before they figured out, oh, cocaine is the one. That's the one, the cocoa plant. It's not those other things like, poinsettias and viper poison and poop. I just wonder how much stuff they put up their nose before they realized that cocaine was the right thing. People are so insane. You understand that, right? That people are nuts. People are lunatics. People are crazy. You understand that? That we live in a world right now where the idea of tribalism is so foreign, so outside of the norm that we just can't, we're not even connected to that. Just a few thousand years ago, maybe less. I don't know. I'm not good at math. There were people banging sticks together, grinding up leaves, right? And now it's like we're this advanced society. We're this advanced, forward-thinking, sort of, fast-moving, we're these, like, fast-paced people. Look at how high speed we are. Look at all of our stuff. Look at how high-tech we are. Oh, but wait, though. Like, don't you see that you have astronomically large numbers of your war veterans returning home and killing themselves? Do you see that? Like, isn't that like some kind of marker? Some kind of like flag or something? Some kind of something that should tell us, guys, hey, we're friggin', we're heading the wrong direction here. This shit doesn't look good here. Right? Something doesn't look right here, guys. Something doesn't look right. But no, we just keep pushing forward. It's kind of like me when I do budget. That's the reason why my wife does the budget, because I'm an idiot. I just think, you know what? Let's just keep moving forward and cross our fingers and hope. And Jennifer's like, no, let's come up with a plan. And I'm like, forget a plan. Let's just spend money. Let's just blow money and hope it works out, guys. Oh, man, that's me. That's me. What's the problem? I don't know. Throw some money at it. Let's see if that fixes it. Whereas my wife would say, let's plan. Let's approach this with a calm mind. Let's be systematic here. Let's be rational. That's the reason she's amazing for me. If you don't have somebody in your life that can tell you to calm the hell down, then you need to get one. And I'll be that guy for you. I'll be your Huckleberry. If you're looking for somebody to tell you to chill out, man, I'll gladly be that guy or person or human for you. Yeah, anyway, I digress to all that stuff. I mean, we live in a world where the idea that putting something in your body that was synthesized in a laboratory is far better than putting something in your body that was grown in the dirt. We would have tribes go to war. They would come back with PTSD. They would lick a toad. They would go in a tent for a while and come out a new human being and have better lives, right? That's crazy. That's nuts. That's wacko, man. That we're that far away. And going back to what Matt added here in the thing here, he says in the comments section, by the way, if you're listening live, I appreciate you staying this long. If you're not listening live, please go to veteransfornaturalrights.org or go to Veterans for Natural Rights on Facebook and find out more about what you can do to help veterans gain access safely to medicine, resources, supplements, data, information, communication, appropriate legislative understanding, all kinds of stuff. Please go and check it out. We're working on the website right now, and we're working on making better graphics, as you can see. If you're a web developer, graphic designer, and you're a veteran and you want to help for free, please send us a message and don't just assume you're the best and the baddest. Let's get together and work together and make something that doesn't suck. Yeah? I digressed again. It's all your fault, Veterans for Natural Rights. So, when we're talking about the idea of guilt, one of the things that Matt says here is, he says, guilt is a painful external feeling of empathy for outward injury caused by one's actions done to others. You cannot move through life without causing hurt or being hurt. Having hurt someone else does not mean you deserve to hurt forever and deny your full potential. Forgive yourself. So it's okay. You piss someone off or let someone down. Get over yourself. Dang! Matt, dropping bombs. Purge your attachment to judgment of what you do or do not deserve, and you will experience gratitude and contentment rather than lusting for things always beyond your reach. What you can purge. Pee and sweat. This is the cannabis medicine chakra, and the color is orange. What you can purge is pee and sweat. It's good stuff. It's true. That's interesting, man. That's an interesting perspective on this situation here, isn't it? I mean, it's like, some of you guys are going to listen to that and you're going to be like, I don't know. I just don't know. That's a bit too hippie for me. Not me, though. I hear it and I'm like, that's interesting. You know, because Christians, they by and large, and I identify by, you know, primarily as a Christian, right? But at the same time, those things that he's talking about, there's chakras and the idea of energy and force and chi. I cannot, and I will not limit what I believe to be the creator of the universe because I don't understand it. How stupid. How stupid. How foolish. To say, you know God. Right? If the God of the universe is what a lot of predominant evangelical Christians say it is, then, in my opinion, that's a very tiny God. Because then they'll say he's the biggest God in the whole wide world, the bestest, biggest, onlyest, etc. But then they'll treat him, or it, or God, as if he's incapable of actually handling the things that they say he can handle. Or they pretend like they played a role in how this situation, you know, because if you believe in the context and the doctrine of divine providence, that idea is that God's in control and has set everything in motion and is doing all things. Sort of the idea of, you know, anti-autonomy to a degree. Taken to its fullest extent, I suppose. But guilt comes from a lot of times can come from a religious upbringing. You feel overwhelming guilt because you feel like you've let God down. Because you feel like, you know, if you're a red-blooded American and you served your country and you love God and eat apple pie, well, all right. You know. But a lot of those folks that are ready to wave a flag in a parade aren't willing to put legislation forward that's actually going to help save lives of veterans instead of doing a self-serving, anti-patriotic, socialistic, ridiculous display of self-importance. Tim, did you just piss on veterans parades? You better believe I did. I think that's foolishness. No, but Tim, it's raising awareness. You don't understand. Okay, cool. Then let's get involved. Sure. But what are those parades saying when they're marching? Are they saying, veterans are killing themselves, da-da, veterans are killing themselves, da-da, they're consuming pills, da-da, veterans are killing themselves, da-da. Is that what they're saying? No. They're saying, yay, America, flag waving, yay, red, white, and blue, yay, yay, yay. America, America. That's what they're saying. Tim, you're just an iconoclast. You just want to piss on everything that's fun and good. Nope, that's not true. Celebrating veteran services is good. It's a good thing, man. Honoring people who decided to serve their country, that's also a good thing. Especially if they were honorable people. That's a good thing. But to pretend that your patriotism consists of waving a flag on the side of a parade or even in a parade, that's not enough, dude. That's not enough. It's a start, maybe. It's something to do. But I wonder if you've evaluated what to do and what not to do and have approached it from a position of pragmatism or right and wrong. Like, have you looked at the tactic of hiking or physical activity? Have you looked at that tactic and said, it's good and efficacious for me, or it is not good and efficacious for me? Either one, have you? And if the answer is no, then shut your mouth about natural therapy. Stop talking about it. You don't know. You don't. You have no idea what you're talking about. Well, yeah, you're just telling me I should go on a hike and stop taking pills and everything's going to be fine. No. And if you've been saying that, you haven't been listening long enough or closely enough. You should take notes. See, the thing is we're a little bit salty about this subject, you guys. We're a little bit edgy about this thing here. Just a touch. And I believe it's completely and 100% valid. Although I don't believe it's good to lose your temper and behave poorly, I do believe that an appropriate amount of emotional response as a result of these things is not outrageous at all. In fact, many people could use a bit of emotion in regards to this subject. Many people could use a stark reminder of what really is going on and what really is happening and how many veterans are really dying and how many people are really getting hurt. So, veteran, listen. You have a duty, you have a responsibility. You know what you're supposed to do. And if you don't, let us know. We want to help. The process is exceptionally difficult. It's so freaking hard. It's harder than anything you've ever done. So be ready, okay? But just know that it's not impossible and that you're not the first one to go through it, right? First time when I went to go get my tooth pulled, that's the first thing I thought was, man, I'm the first one to do this. I'm going to be one of those crazy cases that dies while getting tooth pulled. That's how I felt. Turns out I didn't die, and it wasn't special, and everything went precisely as they said, and everything was just fine. Turns out I was wrong. This body that I have, it has a desire to live and will make up things in order to convince itself to do things that will help itself to do what it thinks is going to live, to survive. Fight or flight is what it's sometimes called. Right? It's the that sort of unspoken thing inside of each and every one of us that sort of happens without our permission sometimes. And guilt can seem like one of those things. But know that it's not, and that it's a choice. Know that. Know it. You don't have to feel guilt. And if you feel guilt, and you allow yourself to feel that emotion, you also don't have to allow that emotion to negatively affect you outside of that permission-given moment. It's crazy. It's crazy. Purge your attachment to judgment of what you do or do not deserve, and you will experience gratitude and contentment rather than lusting for things always beyond reach. Spoken like a true poet? Is that the word I was looking for? Poet? Prophet? I don't know. Prolific writing? Copy? I don't know. It's good stuff. Good, interesting stuff, guys. Listen, for more information about what we're doing here in Omaha, you can go to the Facebook page of Veterans for Natural Rights Omaha. I believe it's facebook.com/VNR Omaha. I'm fairly certain. But if you search VNR Omaha, you'll find it. And then obviously search for the national page that is called Veterans for Natural Rights.com or org, I believe. We're working on the website, so don't judge too harshly. And if you do, no one cares. It's all right. If you've got web development experience, social media design experience, if you're interested in content creation, if you're interested in writing some blogs for us, if you've got a perspective that we might find interesting, if you want to be on the show, please let us know. We're working on developing more capable means of doing these kinds of things, and we're not done yet. We're just getting started. This is just in its infant stages, guys. But what we're looking at here is sort of a world of veteran care and treatment that is so big, has so many far-reaching tentacles that it literally is wrapped around politics, religion, sex, drugs, money, rock and roll, all of it. It's willing to reach out its nasty, hairy, veteran, gross tentacles and sort of do good things in all sorts of different, places, all sorts of different venues. It's having impact in other elements other than just with veterans. People are starting to take notice that aren't veterans, right? So if you'd like more information about those things, please send us a message. If you've had experience personally with what we're talking about here, this kind of guilt, please let us know. Comment below. Share your thoughts. And then consider sharing this podcast with a veteran friend or a non-veteran, perhaps create awareness. The goal, again, is to let people know about these things, that they exist, and be a voice for a community of people that have, by and large, been sort of pissed on and dismissed. And if they are appreciated, it's sort of this quasi-patriotic flag-waving, not-for-real kind of thing, and from the sidelines of a parade. Oh, here's another wounded veteran, We want to break those stigmas and get out beyond that idea of what a veteran's supposed to look like and be, and where they're supposed to be appreciated and when they're not. And we want to really help them. We want to make them real, bring them to the forefront because they matter, okay? I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. I appreciate you listening this long. And if you have been listening this long, that means you can obviously share the post. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast for tonight. I'm going to try to go into this supermarket here and not lose my mind. So hopefully Trader Joe's goes well. Oh, did I say their name? I'm sorry. Hopefully this nondescript supermarket that I'm about to go into contains the organic food I'd like to feed to my family. You guys are awesome again. Appreciate it. Talk to you later. Bye.